Hey guys, Jimmy here from Couch Talk. Today, myself, Liam and Brad have headed down to Narendra. We're at the Myers household here. As you can see, got the toys in the background. So, us boys have actually followed Jake a long time. We've seen him at a lot of events. UBC Perth, I was fortunate enough to go in the car with him, which was a good experience to go through. So, Jake, start off, let's go. Age and what's your occupation? What do you do for lacrosse?
Oh, I'm 22. I'm a sign writer by trade. I work in and live in Melbourne. I work at Vinyl Wraps and Graphics. Matt, me boss. Yeah, we just do all kinds of signage, shop signage, car signage. Yeah, any signage you want.
And that's obviously why the car's both wrapped and it's easy to maintain and look after.
Yep.
Let's get straight into it. Obviously, you've had a different upbringing than most kids in motorsport because it's in your blood. You've been pulled through it. What is your first fondest memory of motorsports? Like,
just growing up around the cars, you know, like Dad, he's like 7-time Burnout master at some Nats, you know, and it's just like traveling around Australia, you know, try not to take too much time off school, but I just look forward to getting home from school and getting in the shed with Dad, you know, and just getting on the tools and Dad teaching me a few things here and there.
Is there like a certain event that, like, when you think back now, like, it just, like, you might have been 4 or 5, and it's like you remember that one, like that was really your first grasp of the fact of like, hey, this is what my dad does for a job.
Yeah.
It
was mostly Gazanats back in the day in Adelaide at AIR, and just going up there every October and just crewing with all the guys and just you know, getting around it, and it's just I grew up around it.
Yeah, it's different. A lot of people, like a lot of guys in the burnout scene, haven't had the opportunity to grow up in the way that you've had to grow up.
Yep.
Well, covering that, when's the first time you remember you doing a skid?
Well,
when was your first skid? I'm not talking at a comp. I'm like in the backyard. Dad's just like here. Jumps it. Like, when do you remember that?
So the first time was out at me pop's farm. We Dad poured a bit of concrete, and my dad's like, I don't know, it was like 40th or something. Old V8, I think it was XA, and it was being chopped and stuff. And I was like 12, I think, and I was just like smoking it up. And ever since then, I was just wanting to get behind the wheel, but obviously I was too young, like to compete and stuff. So.
And do you still remember, when was your first burnout comp? When did you first come out in a burnout comp and compete?
I was 16, and we went down to Portland. It was Clint and Robin Ogilvy's show they had there. It was Portland Nats or something. So they said you could do just a demo, like, cause I was too young. I was like 15, so I wasn't old enough to compete. But they said, if you want to get in the car and do a test skid, that was when it was carby blowing. Engine's actually sitting over here. So I went out there and blew the tyres off and drove off.
And then that's when the bug sort of started.
And that's when it was like I was obviously still too young to compete, so I had to wait another year. So it was 16. So the year after, I went up to Dubbo for I think it was Pro Burnouts. Phil Kurgen's show. So went up there and Phil said, you can come in there because of private insurance and stuff.
So what were you skidding then? What was that?
That was the Mustang, right? So I think I skidded it. We wrapped it with all the graphics and stuff. It was like flames with little skulls and stuff.
It had like a big metal militia sticker or something?
Yeah, that was a big skull with the helmet and stuff. So we went up there and there was the Steve Loader, Tifa Tough, all those guys, like Burnout Masters, and I ended up coming 4th. So I ended up beating like some of the other guys.
And that was straight into a blown combo?
Yes, without not injected, because that came a few years after. But with that comp, with the prize money, I bought my first blower. So I bought the 671 Teflon Littlefield from the US. And that's when me and Dad thought, we've got to keep up there for the big guys now. And we built just a small block 302 with injector hat. And then, we went and tuned it over in Perth. But we'll get to that.
And that's the hardest thing now, is that the sport's progressing so much. Like every second week on Facebook or Instagram, you see like a new blown build come out of nowhere. It's like got hundreds of thousands chucked into it, and it's just like the sport's just evolving so much. But in saying that, obviously you guys travel a heap. How do you, like, obviously sometimes traveling, it'd have to get tiring. Like it really would. Like it seems like every second week you're on the road.
It is, man. Yeah, you don't give much time to yourself. Like especially on weekends. Like I work all week, and they'd pack up and then, like, say, because I live in Melbourne, Mum and Dad sort of just travel around. They've got the 7-car transporter, so it sort of helps out. I could sort of put my car on there, and then Dad just sort of organises a few other competitors to throw the cars on. So then I just fly out of Melbourne, so the old Hollywood set up there. Everyone says Hollywood, and But you know,
and the boss is pretty lenient then too. Obviously.
Yeah, man. Like he's in the drag racing, so
he understands the motorsports that you have to make sacrifices.
Like at the start of the year, I say, mate, I got these comps throughout the year. I only need a Friday off here and there.
Yep.
But I do a fair bit of overtime at work, so.
Obviously, each year we see you at Summer Nats, but obviously a couple of years ago you missed it.
Yeah, man.
Run us through that. What happened?
Oh, yeah, that's sort of a good memory, that one. But yeah, I was like, I ride motocross. I've actually grown up on motorbikes. First bike was like a Pee-wee 50, and then my dad got me a 350 Raptor 4-wheeler. I pretty much grew up on that, just wheels. Doing like, you know, doughies down the river in the wet and stuff. And then like Dad had a 450 Yamaha 2-wheeler, and I was like, oh, I'll keep the 4-wheelers. This is when I was younger. And then he's like, oh. And then all my mates were into their 2-strokes and stuff like that. I ended up getting a 250 2-stroke Yamaha YZ. So we Dad's like, you have to get on it and give it a go. And mate, power van on it. It's just like wild, eh? So I grew up on that for like 3 years. Yeah. And then then it came to Summer Nats last year. Yeah, not this year, year after. Yeah. Yep. So I came up, so it was start of holidays, came up to Narrandera with my partner, Amy, and Dad's like, because we spent like 3 days working on the cars, getting them ready. Yeah. And they were all done, so Dad's like, we'll go for a ride in the morning. Have a bit of an unwind. Yeah, just go for a ride. And I was a bit funny, like I wasn't like, you know, all in it. And because I was in the Masters at Summer Nats, so I was just like, I can't afford to hurt myself, you know. So went for a ride down the river and then up around town, and I was just going about 80 kilometres through the grass, and there was just a log there, and I've seen it, and I was like, I'm going too fast to stop, so I just sort of tried to wheelie over it. Yeah. And she bucked me off, and I flew 20 metres and snapped me humerus, and it went out me arm. And I thought I just broke my wrist, which I fell luckily like that. And I just sort of grabbed my arm and I was like, just screaming out me old man. And lucky he was behind me, because if he was in front, he would have took off. Yeah, you know? He wouldn't have said, yeah. So, and then he's like, jump on the back of my bike, we'll go to the hospital. I was like, hey, get it up, I broke my arm. So he called the ambulance, and they came, and then I woke up in hospital, and they said you snapped your compound fracture of your humerus. So. Yeah. I was like, I was devoted. First thing I did, I said to Dad, I was like, Summer Nats. I was like, the Burnout Masters. I was just like devoted, you know. Yeah, and then there was a long recovery, because obviously you had a lot of altercations and things like that. Yeah, it got infected because the bone got in the dirt and stuff like that, and it got pretty bad, and it got like this rare infection in there, which because I fell off out the front of it was like a manure place. So it had all the dirt. So it was full. It was just filthy. Yeah. So the bone wasn't healing up, so they said, well, we've got to go back in and clean it. Then another, I think it was 6 weeks, I had a drip line through my arm into my heart, feeding me antibiotics every day, and that was like hell. I had to go up to the hospital every day to refill the bottle. And it was a good man. So how long was the recovery period for that? It was pretty much a whole year. Yeah, so I had a whole year off work. My boss was pretty reluctant to sort of hold me job for me, and he said, come back when you're ready. And so I'm still there now. So. Yeah, no, but that's, obviously your boss lets you have holidays and things like that. Yeah. It's something that's out of your power. Yeah, that's right. And it just sounded like shitstorm after shitstorm, obviously. The way it happened. But going back to the burnouts, obviously you guys do Gazanats and everything like that. What is one burnout comp that you'll never forget? What's like your best favourite burnout comp? Whether you won it, whether you lost, whether... My favourite would have to be Decker at Shepparton, which is, the new owners there, so they've shut that down now. But mate, just that pad, you don't have any worries of hitting any walls, or but you just go as hard as you can and just do like 10 loops and then just come flying back up. It's just the best pad I've ever skidded on. I remember the Decker days. I think everyone remembers the Decker days, especially the cruise track out the back. It was wild as hell. I've been out there a couple of times and up in the grass and run around. At the moment, the scene is growing huge. But all these events and things are closing down. Where do you see burnouts going in the next sort of 2 to 5 years? It's more the big venues, say like Sydney Raceway, Dragway, Perth Motorplex. It's just all the smaller ones. I think they're getting a bit funny about their tracks and stuff like that. But it's pretty disappointing, because it's a pretty big growing sport. It is at the moment. I think burnouts is one of the fastest growing sports in Australia at the moment. Like it's just.
But I know what you mean, like the big guys are holding it down. You mean Perth, Sydney, things like that. But and there are your comps that are always going to be here, but there's a lot of younger guys that are coming into the scene. That used to have Heathcote and all these other places like that. I think you can still skid at Heathcote now, but I think they're a lot stricter.
Winton, that was one of my favourite. I was really looking forward to going back there this year for PCM, but the track there weren't really supporting them. That much.
That one's. I think that upset a lot of people. That one did.
Yep.
And it's hopefully these events will come back. Hopefully, obviously, because the other thing that these events are going to realise real quick is they're going to lose a lot of money. Because the money they would have made for these events on these weekends, just with your crowd coming through the gates, your cars, your pits, and things like that, eventually you're going to get to the end of the year, they're going to be like, hey, we're 40k deep, down. Wonder where it's because of this event or that event. You've had a different upbringing to a lot of people. It's in your blood. Like you've just, you come out in the shed, dad has things like this there. What do you suggest, but to guys that are coming up in the scene now? Because there's a lot of guys, they're slamming the LSs in them, chuck a cam in it, out there party. What do you like? What would you tell these guys that are coming in the sport? What should they be focusing on? What should they be doing? Because you've obviously done it at a young age. Yes, you've been able to come up through a lot of dad's connections, things like that, but you've still worked your ass off. You've still steered the car, and you're still doing what you have to do to get up there. These young guys coming through, what do you suggest that they should be looking at and focusing on to?
This year, man, you just got to keep working hard, saving the pennies, bro. And then you just, like me old man, like I've been brought up around it, so it's like I've had the help, and we're very grateful for that. And there's other kids out there. But still,
it hasn't been handed to you.
No, that's right. I've worked for it.
At the end of the day, you could go out there and have the best car in the world, but if you can't steer it and control it, there's no point. So you've still gone through. You've still learned how to steer a car. But I guess to the younger guys out there, the guys that are coming up, it's more just consistency. Like just get out there and just do it. Like cars like this, you can't go out and bash them every week and put 10 tyres off them.
You just get your LSs, man. Like you go out there and just do sets and sets of tyres, man. Like these things are so much maintenance. Like to go out there and do 4 skids, you got to do oil change and check tappets and all that kind of stuff, and it's just
So in talking about the highs of the sport and the good things you've gone through, what is the biggest shit time you had in the sport? When's one time that something just went wrong? Like maybe you got crook before an event, or maybe you modded it, or
it would have to be when I broke my arm.
But like at an actual event, there's going to be one event that you just like. It would have to be
Summer Nats. So this year, just gone. So I made it into the wildcard shootout, and I thought everyone was sort of playing it safe, so I thought, well, I'll go a little bit harder, so then it gives me a bit more of a chance to get into the top 3 to get into the qualifying for the Masters. So I went out there and just thought, and then I was sort of pointing up the shoot road, and I was like, I got to do it. So I went up there, and it was the first time I've ever been up there, So like, there's a bit of a slant on the pad, so like everyone says to turn left, but I went right. And that just kept bringing me down.
The momentum,
and I just touched the wall, which the part's up on the wall over there, or on the wall. So I just tapped it, which put me out of the qualifying. And then I did so it worked out that we went straight into the finals for the normal comp. All the wildcard shootout guys. I went out there, all guns blazing. I killed it, like tipped it in, went straight down the exit, straight back in, straight up the start line. And then got back in the start, in the middle of the pad, and she just sort of just conked out and stopped. And I was just a bit confused. I didn't know what happened. And then I was like, I sort of just drove off. And then all of a sudden I looked, I forgot to turn on my fuel pump. So the front tank's only 20 litres. So she just ran out, and I was so close to popping the tyres. And the judge just said to me, I said, mate, that was a killer skid, And I was spewing, man. It's just,
that's a pressure thing too.
100%. I was sitting there and I was like switching it off just so it didn't overflow the tank too much and like surge it too much. So you even see on my GoPro, I switch it on, and then I thought I'd turn it on, but I switched it off. And I went for it, And
look, there's a lot of guys, I've seen a lot of guys like, I've seen them skid at any other venue, and they're just loose, and then you see them get to Summer Nats. Obviously, you got the crowd, you got the pressure, you got everything, and they skid different, and they behave different, and pressure will make you do crazy things. But do you, obviously coming up under Dad's footsteps, obviously you've got a big social media following and things like that. When you go to events like that, Do you have pressure, or is it still just hell is fun? Like, do you still have that?
Have fun, man. Like, just go out there and just once you get on the lab pedal, it all goes away, man. It's I get butterflies every time. Like,
they say if you don't have butterflies, it's not a good thing. So obviously, I've been in the car with you at Perth, and I remember asking you then, but a lot of different tracks and things like that. Do you have a game plan when you go in? Obviously, you watch a couple other guys that worked off well, that didn't. Some pads have a lean, some don't. Do you just what's the way you tackle it?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely sit back and like watch a few of the other guys, like especially when there's like group 3, 4, like if I'm in a later group, you can sort of just sit back and just see which way guys are going and which way the cars are sort of going, and you really can't really plan which way you're going to go because you can't predict which way the car's going to go, like once
you can
tip it
guide
in,
it that way,
but
that's sometimes
right.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And half the time you come in, everything goes.
Yeah, especially with no power steering in this thing, it's like it's
steering
jumping off it like it's a mission. So.
And how long does it take to get accustomed to driving C&T? Obviously, guys will have a look around the cars later on and things like that. But how long did it take? Like, because it's not a simple car. Like I've been in plenty NA cars, I've skidded in NA cars, and I've been in like yours, I've been in Chris Genter's, I've been in a lot of big cars like that. It's a whole different feeling. Like, did it take a while to sort of get comfortable?
Even just like growing up, man, going passenger with Dad, like it's just so much like just watching him and seeing which way he turns and stuff like that, and just from a young age growing up, it's just like anything, you study stuff.
You've come accustomed to it. You've done it that many times, and like when I was in the car with you, I remember like straight away, I think we revved to like 9 straight off the bat, and then we were in there. And then within 2 seconds we were lost, and I was like, and you just kept going through the smoke, and then you're finished. Whereas
it happens
sometimes
so
in an NA car, it feels like you're out there for 4.5 minutes, like just banging the tyres.
Under a minute with like popping the tyres.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it was in and out, and sort of like I was in the passenger. I wasn't looking at gauges or doing anything I should have been, but it just happened that quick, and it was just like. So obviously you have a really big social media following on Instagram, Facebook, and things like that. Explain to us how Burnout and things like that evolved. How did that all come into play?
Yeah, no, it was like at Summernats 3 years ago. The guys there had a little stall, and they only just sort of started up on Talk Burnout. And then Billy and Aaron from Talk Burnout, they contacted me and said, hey, we'll be really interested in putting your car in Talk Burnout. And I was like, yeah, no worries. And then they got Inferno as well, Tommy. So they said, you boys will be the first 2 in. And I said, no worries, It sort of gets it out there into the world, because apparently they got like 5 million followers.
Yeah, okay, wow.
So, like not followers, more downloads. It's a pretty big, wide range of stuff. So
it's something different again, and again, it's a marketing tool for yourself.
Yeah, that's right, and like that's really helped me to get all like my followers on like Facebook, because they put like link in that on the car. So all these guys from US like click on it and then they like my page and then follow. And that helps out a lot. Yeah.
So what's your game plan for the rest of this year, and then let's look into next year?
Yeah, we'll just so we're going to pull the Mustang off the track just for now. Pull the engine out, just give it a freshen up. Like it could go another season though. With the
but you better be safe and sorry and on top of the car.
So we'll get that all ready. I think there's a few comps coming up at the end of the year at Stall. So we'll go down there, test it out. Then we'll be ready for Summernats, Burnout Masters. So we'll go in there, all guns blazing, go for the big one. And then we're just going to sort of chill out, sort of start of next year. And then sort of we're going to save up and hopefully go to the Burnout comp in America, the Invasion. So hopefully that all comes about. And we'll take the XA over with us too. So it should be good.
That's the hardest thing for guys like yourself is obviously, and a lot of the big blind cars, maintaining it and getting to shows and all the big shows and things like that. It's not a cheap sport. Like it's stupidly expensive. So obviously your car is extremely well known for the fact that obviously you have done well in it, but it was also Dad's. So everyone remembers the black with the flames. I think everyone remembers that car's old school. How did that unfold? How did that transition happen? You taking it? When you got it? Was it NA? Was it blown? How did that unfold?
Yeah, so Dad pretty much sort of retired it there in 2012. I think it was after he won the Burnout Masters. He said, we'll put it aside, and then he was tinkering around with XA, and then I was still at school then, so all my mates were like, "Oh, you're a sicko." Like, you know, Trent from Punchy and that. Like, we always just joke around with that stuff. Then, I was just all my mates like, "Oh, you're sicko." And then I thought, "Oh, no one's got this number plate sicko on a Burnout car."
Yeah.
So I thought, "Oh," then my mates had ordered the number plates off the internet, and then Dad's like, "Well, you may as well start competing." And like that was with the carbies.
Yep.
And then I think I didn't end up skidding it at Summer Nats with the carbies because we brought it out after Dad had a bit of a accident in up in I think it was Cairns.
Yep.
He sort of lost control a bit and damaged the paint.
Yep.
And we full respray and we pretty much
had a
wrapped
birthday.
it. Yeah. And then we wrapped over it straight away, which you could see the flames underneath it still. Yep. We never clear coated it after because we ran out of time, so we just wrapped straight over it.
Yep.
So you can still see the pinstripes. So Dad's like, well, we may as well start building an ejected engine for it.
Yep.
So I think I just did a few comps there one year, and then Summer Nats we put the injected engine in it.
Yep.
Went all the way over to Perth to Blow Motorsports, and George helped us tune it. That was like a week before Summer Nats, so it was sort of like a pretty quick trip over to tune it. And we come all the way back over, loaded it up, went straight to Summer Nats, and I was in the wild card shootout for the first time when I was 17. I ended up actually making the top 3. Me, Wanna-Go, and I think it was Ghetto or something.
Yep.
So I made it into the qualifying, and then Dad was actually in the Masters with the car from the year before. So we had to double back up. Yeah. So like we went out there, like me first, him last, and we did it, and we both made the finals. And that was like my first year skidding it, and like I was in the top 10 shootout.
Yeah.
So went out there. I ended up coming 4th.
Yeah.
4th, and that was my first time in a blown injected engine at Summer Nats. Like, and it's the hardest pad in Australia.
Yeah.
And Dad come, I think, 6th. So I think I bet him.
So you had bragging rights over Dad for a while there?
No, so that was
and is that the transition pretty much when Dad said, right, the car's yours?
Like, He said
obviously you proved yourself, you outdid Dad.
Yeah.
In his car with his engines over, and that's sort of when you took the car over, and then and then what's your relationship obviously with, because there's big dollars in these things, what's your relationship with the engine builder and like Blow Motorsports and things like that?
So Dad actually builds engines here in this workshop, but just sort of gets a bit of intel off George from Blow Motorsports, and he just tells us a lot about the tune. So he just tells us main pills, all that kind of stuff. And that like helps a lot because he's been in it for a very long time. Like he's got like records at the Perth Motorplex, and he's. I
remember when we went to UBC Perth earlier this year. Every second car over there from Perth had his sticker on the back window. So he does obviously tunes a lot of cars over there. But who else has jumped on board or recently and for a long time? Who's been on board sponsoring the car?
Yeah, we got like Newlon. They're one of our major sponsors for foil. Get through. Every comp, like just not having to worry about changing oil. But they give us a bit extra oil, so we just change it every skid. So, we got like American Legends. They really helped us out when I rewrapped the car from the graphics and that to the orange. So they said, we'll get on board, put some big billets on it, something different. A few people don't like it, but hey.
It's not their car, doesn't
that's
matter.
Right. Yeah. So, we got Yellow Terror. They help us out. We Crow Cams. They help us out with our cams. We got Racer's Choice. He helps out a bit in Wollongong. We got heaps, man. Like,
things like this. It's a big community of people to back the people up, and you have to have good relationships with these people to continue in the sport.
Yeah, and we got like ProFlow. They help us out with fitting all up, all the fittings. Aussie Desert, Killer Radiator. We've never had problems with radiator. Like that radiator's probably been in it since like we was carbies. Like. It's been in there for like ever. So.
And if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Obviously, now too that you've done that much prep with this car and you've been in it for so long, you'd be pretty handy around an engine now. Like you'd sort of know your way in and out of things.
Like I'm no engine builder, but Dad,
you can pull it down. Like if you can diagnose a certain issue if you think that's what it is.
That's right. Yeah. Like I pull out the engine with Dad. Like when we rebuild it, pull the heads off, pull everything out, cranks, pistons, all that stuff. Pull out transmission, send that off to Adam at ATS Transmissions, and then get the converter checked too. TCE converters, they help out a bit. So, you know, it's not like I don't know anything.
There's a lot of time invested into the cars behind the scenes for the prep stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's no point not doing the prep and then traveling to Sydney or Perth or something, you get it off and then there's something simple goes wrong and you're like, I should have just checked that at home. Yeah. And that's a big thing, I guess, especially when you're playing with toys like that. If it's an LS1 and it's a junkie, you just bin it and put a new one in and go again.
That's right. Yeah.
But with this,
it's
it's a whole different thing. And when you go to different places, do you have to change much in the tune?
Yes, you do. Like, we carry a weather station around with us.
Yep.
So we actually like go off the altitudes and stuff like that. But yeah, we do a lot. Some guys don't, but you know, it proves what we do.
Yeah,
you know,
you just don't have that many issues. Like at the end of the day, nothing is unbreakable. No engine, but at the same time, if you can prevent it and save it as long as you can, well, that's what you're gonna aim to try and do.
Yep.
Obviously, the engine-wise of the car is set up certain. We talked about that. But is the actual car overall set up different? Like, do you change a lot of things? Like, I was having a look at the bay at the strut towers and things like that. Is there a lot of things suspension-wise that you change in the car?
You know, we put a back when we put the injector hat and stuff on it, and the Littlefield supercharger, we were getting a lot more horsepower out of it. Yep. So we put like a RRS front end in it with the Lovells springs in it. Yep. So yeah, they help us out a bit, Lovells, with all the springs and rear end and stuff. So, but yeah, now we got it was a Ring Brothers billet front end there on the brace. Yep. So that just like strengthens up the front of the Mustang because like they're pretty loose. Like because
flimsy, they like to twist a bit.
We took off the original one and took it to Wagga to back in a Dame to get it all repainted, smash repairs, and bring it back. And the actual front like had kinked. Like, because the engine was like, it didn't have the braces on it.
And just because of the torque?
Yeah, just like on the trailer, just bent it, man. Like, so we had to get all that fixed and, just make sure.
At the end of the day, that's not meant to have 1,000 horsepower.
Nah, that's right.
Engine in it. This was,
It
was built to be a nice passenger car. In saying that, how did this car eventuate? Like, when did this car come out? Like, I'm thinking when your dad would have had it, would have been 1990s, like comfortably?
He would have been like, probably 17 at the time when he got it. He bought it off a guy in Sydney, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Just had a NA, just a carby on it.
A straight car? Or?
Yeah. Had like big flares, had like sunroof in it. Yep. Had everything, and that obviously eventuated over the years when Dad started going to Summernats, and Dad started drag racing in it. But he went to the drags and did one pass and didn't make it into the finals or something. So I was like, stuff this. So next year he went to Summernats and went in the Burnout Comp and won it. So then he just went there every year and he won it. You know?
How many Burnout Comps has Dad won? Because we had a look in the big train coach. Well, there's trophies everywhere. There's just there was a lot of trophies and a lot of just memorabilia and things like that, especially in the shed. Yeah,
he's won over seven championships.
Yeah, and so that's how the car got it sort of.
That's in the back.
Yeah, he's right.
He's getting a welder.
So, obviously, you go around the country, go to everyone events and things like that. What is it like being at and running your own events? Obviously, it's with the family, mum and dad and that. Because obviously, I think everyone's going to see this and admit this. Your mum's your biggest supporter on Facebook. Things like that. You see your mum on everything.
You see videos at comps where you hear her screaming out, bro.
I see often you post stuff and your mum's straight and I'm like, me and your mum is your biggest fan. Obviously, and your partner's heavily into what you do. Yep. She supports you. But what's it like going to different events and things like that, and then having your own event and things like that? Is there a different vibe to it? Like,
well, obviously I can't compete at like Gazinats because it's like if I did, well, it'd be a bit of controversy. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll just go along, man, and help out.
In that way, does it make it more laid back for you because you don't give a shit?
100%. Yeah, because I just go there and obviously I take the car sometimes just to promote it and to do winter rides. People love it, man. Like, just go out there and just do demos, have no stress at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and cruising the track and things like that. Obviously, we're going to try and get there later this year. But you've kind of done a lot at a young age. You've ticked off a lot of things that a lot of people won't tick off in a lifetime.
100%,
What do you want to do in the next 2 to 5 years? Like, you've got to have goals in the back of your head that you're like, whether they're left of field or... You know what I mean? It'd be like you might want to win every comp for a year or something like that.
Yeah, well, there's obviously a few bucket list ones I want to tick off, like Masters.
Yep.
UBC.
Yep.
Obviously go to the US for the invasion. Like, get the car over there. Yep. Then go into like Gas Monkey Garage and stuff like that. It's just like...
And experience that.
Yeah, that's right, man. You only get to do that once.
And is there going to be a point in the future that we're going to see a pretty car that's not skidded?
I don't know. You have to wait and see. So no, there's a few things.
There's always options to do something different.
Right. Yeah. You're always
And as I said, at your age and what you've done, like there's a lot of guys in the sport that won't ever get that opportunity.
No.
And yes, you've had sponsors on board and it's in your blood and things like that, but you've still had to prove yourself. You still had to go. Right. You still have to get in the car and steer it and do things and to get judged. And that's why a lot of people need to understand that. But you've had a really good upbringing in the fact that you get to play with all these all the time. So what we'll do is we're going to cut this chat now, and we're going to have a look at the cars. Get Jake to run us through the cars. They're both impressive bit of gear. Thanks for the chat.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, mate.